I am a privileged white female. So first off, guys, you probably noticed my bangs. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something a lot more serious today. So put on your seatbelts. Let's get ready for a ride. Hey guys, my name's Abigail Ray, and today I'm talking about something a little bit different. I've kind of been struggling whether I want to make a whole video on this or not, just because I've been reposting since and sharing things since George Floyd's death. It really did aggravate me, and I can only imagine how much more it angers people of color that go through similar things, that have seen similar things in their family, that have gone through this experience all their life. I just want to start out by saying, when I was younger, I lived in Minneapolis. There was a lot of diversity around me, and I was very young though. I moved when I was 3 to the countryside on the East Coast. And when I moved to the country, there is not much diversity in the country. So I didn't really have a lot of like race issues, I guess, surrounding my life until I was like 17, I want to say, and I moved back to Minneapolis for a few months before we found a home in the country where we live now. And then again, with my past 2 years in my high school, there's a lot of diversity there because it's boarding school. That's because our church is so diverse. There's literally almost every single race and ethnicity in our church. I didn't get much a spark for like, understanding and trying to understand until I was like, I don't know, 16 or 17, just because I wasn't around that sort of stuff. I didn't know, and I think it starts with educating yourself and realizing that I am a privileged white female. Not everyone can say that, and I hope that if you are white, you'll understand that you are privileged, because although we may say, yes, America, it's about freedom and it's about equality, there is still so much that is making us unequal. Not just talking about people of color and Black Lives Matter, but other things as well, which I'm not gonna get into anything else. What was I talking about? My mind literally just blanked. It's definitely the first step. I don't know. This video was really hard for me to debate whether I was gonna make it or not, just because I have been sharing on other social media platforms, not YouTube, until now, and I'm just filming this on my phone. But when I was in the shower this morning, I just was thinking through all these thoughts and like how I view things, why I view things the way that I have in the past and the current time. And I was just like, I think it's important to speak up about it, no matter where you're from. And one thing I did want to say about is the vegan community as well, and why we should speak up about it, because everyone obviously in the vegan community comes from different areas of life and reasons of being vegan, but mine was because of, well, cruelty and ethical. I think it's important to understand also that like people, at least I believe that people are still above animals. Doesn't mean we should take advantage of them. I think it just means we have to put people first, and that includes people of color, because they're people. God created us all equal, but I believe that he still created us to have dominion over the animals, which it says in Genesis. I don't think that means we should take advantage of them. I think there's a difference between that. Nevertheless, I think that it's very important to support this cause because it is injustice. And this isn't like a struggle that the Black community has gone through recently. Like, they've been going this for hundreds of years. And yes, it has gotten better in some aspects. Yes, there are laws. There's no slavery to a certain extent, as we know. Criminal slavery is still a thing. I don't really like to go too much into politic things, or like, yes, I read articles and things, but I don't like to like fully force, I don't know, go into it, because it's very more overwhelming for me. I actually took a break for social media for like 3 days because I was just so sick of seeing it like over and over again, all these bad things that have happened. Yes, I think it's good to be aware of the things that are happening in the world, but if we always see things in a negative light and are always seeing negative things, it can really impact our health, our mental health especially. Yes, we need to be aware of the things that are going on still, but we don't need to know every single little story that ever happens, because that's impossible. I've been in activism more online because I live in the country. I don't live near any, I guess, big protests that have happened. I've wanted to go to protests. I haven't. There was actually a peaceful protest in my town a few weeks ago. I was not here though. I was out of town. And when I was out of town, actually, there was protests I saw on the way. The people I was with, that they couldn't go. I was gonna go to something this Saturday, but it's Father's Day weekend and we already have camping planned, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to the whole thing and march to George Floyd's memorial, but I might be able to do some volunteering earlier in the day. I think it's important to be active when you're an activist. Like, that's literally the definition, but that doesn't necessarily, everyone does it differently, because some people just post, which I think is great if you're posting stories, but I think you also have to take into account every side. I know that all cops are not bad, obviously, just like all cops are not good. Every single community, every single activist group, there's always a bad side of things, there's always a good side of things, there's always bad people and everything, and there's always good people and everything. So many different controversial topics. I'm like, I understand this, but I also understand this. This doesn't really have to do with anything about the social injustices that are going on right now in this world, but just in general, I'm bad at making decisions and picking a specific side. I don't think there should be sides necessarily, because that's not where you get anywhere. You don't get anywhere by choosing a side. You don't get anywhere by sides. You have to be together in things, and the social media, I think, kind of likes to separate us sometimes, because you see all these horrific things going on in the world, but then you also see the other side of it too, and it's just more division and more division. And I really love those posts that are like, yes, people of color and anyone else that's protesting, and also police and other government officials coming together and saying, yes, we're together on this thing. I was reading an article a few weeks ago about the police were also kneeling with the protesters. That's what we need to see more of. We need to see more, not separation, because that separation does not get us anywhere. The only way you do something is find a common ground and understanding that Black lives do matter. And I think people get misunderstood, especially not people in general, but white people get misunderstood that Black lives matter means that only their lives matter. That's not what we're talking about here. Yes, other lives matter, but this is the matter at hand. Okay, this is the matter that matters, because until they matter, not all lives will matter, because they're part of that all lives matter. That's why all lives matter is stupid. Don't say that. If you say that, you will make me mad. That's why I'm going to disable comments, because I don't want to get into arguments. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for an argument. I'm not. I'm sorry. If you want an argument, this is not the place to find it. Go to Facebook. But just don't start arguments. It frustrates me so much. That's one reason I didn't want to make this video, because I get so frustrated when people are just so ignorant that racism exists. They don't want to believe it exists, or that it's a social construct. Yes, it's a social construct, but that doesn't mean we can't change it. Racism is a social construct, yes. But is it there? Yes. It's ingrained in our minds. It needs to be changed, erased. It can't be erased because of what has already happened. History, that's important. But becoming better is what's important. And I think, yes, it has gotten better, but bad things, injustices, they still exist. That is a scary bug. I don't like you. I don't like bugs. And I'm vegan. I really want to squish bugs, I'm not gonna lie. Great vegan right there. Because I'm always afraid they're gonna do something to me. I guess you can use an analogy in other ways too. Why am I getting deep all of a sudden? I mean, this whole thing is deep. What am I even saying? Is that just because something looks a certain way doesn't mean they're gonna do you any harm. I can't read someone's mind. Nobody can read anyone's mind. Anyways, I decided I want to share some of my thoughts because it does matter whether you speak up or not. It shows so much. As one of my friends from church has said, she said, I'm sure thousands of other people have said it, is no words speaks volumes, or not speaking speaks volumes, because you're not showing support for something that truly does matter. I mean, one thing, I don't want to make this too biblical because that's just also who I am. At the same time, because I'm a Christian, I can't not be biblical and not think of biblical things that have happened. Like Jesus, he fought for justice for people. He didn't see them any differently just because they weren't Jewish or they weren't Christians or whatever. He didn't care. Okay, he loved everyone. The biggest principle you could live by is to love one another, because that's what Jesus did, and I believe we're supposed to live like Jesus. Obviously, if you're not a Christian, I don't know what to say to you. You can click off this video right now if you don't want to hear anything about Christ and the Bible, because that's something that I believe in. I can't not say anything about it, if that makes sense. Just like I can't not say anything about the injustices happening in this world. I think everyone's ultimate goal should be to love one another. That includes every race, every skin color. Jesus flipped the tables in anger because they weren't respectful towards the Heavenly Father. I think that's really the only time we see Jesus like angry in a way in the Bible. People use this so much, I think, as memes especially, which I think is great. Memes bring lightheartedness to the conversation, and I think that needs to be had sometimes. He did it because he was angry at what was happening. I think he would be angry at what's happening now in this world. And I don't honestly think it's gonna ever get any better, because as a Christian, I know that this world is gonna end. And I know it's only gonna get worse, which is sad to say, but you gotta also, doesn't mean you don't fight for the things that matter. Jesus didn't give up because no one cared, that no one accepted him. He didn't give up because of that, because he knew that it would make a difference in someone's life. In my life. In your life. So, with that, I just want to say thank you for listening to my little rant here. I hope you got something from this video. It's a good thing to get off my chest. Even though I've said stuff on social media, I've shown my support for this cause, multiple other causes before. I think everyone that knows me probably knows where I stand on a lot of topics, and they know that I try to understand what's going on around me. I don't just look at it from one point of view, narrow-mindedness, you know. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you go into something narrow-minded and not trying to learn, just trying to either prove your point or find something that'll support whatever you believe in, it doesn't work. You don't learn like that. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. So, peace.